Every year, thousands of people visit Costa Rica and wonder the same thing. What if I didn't have to leave? What if this wasn't a vacation? What if this could be home? From relocation and real estate to lifestyle, family, business, and community, this is the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast, presented by All in Guanacaste, your guide to life on Costa Rica's Pacific Gold Coast.
Welcome back to the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast presented by All in Guanacaste. I'm Rob.
And I'm Jen.
Today we're talking about something that almost everyone asks before they move to Costa Rica. How much does it actually cost to live here? And maybe more importantly, what are the hidden costs that nobody talks about? When people think about Costa Rica, they usually imagine a cheaper life. And sometimes that's true, but it's not always true. Some things are significantly less expensive than Canada or the States. Some things are surprisingly more expensive, and some expenses are just completely different.
I think that's what surprised me the most. Before we moved, I assumed everything would cost less. And then we arrived and realized that's not really how it works.
Exactly. Costa Rica isn't necessarily a cheap country. It's a country where you can design your lifestyle differently. Let's start with housing, because that's usually the biggest expense. If you're renting, costs vary dramatically depending on the area. A small local apartment might be $600 or $700 a month. A luxury ocean view condo can be $3,000 a month or more. And if you're buying, location matters even more. A property 5 minutes from the beach might cost dramatically less than one directly overlooking the ocean.
I think people sometimes compare Costa Rica prices to what they paid 20 years ago.
That's a big one. Costa Rica today is very different than Costa Rica 20 years ago. Guanacaste especially has seen incredible growth. You're no longer comparing prices to a developing beach region. You're comparing prices to an international destination that attracts buyers from North America, Europe, and beyond.
What about groceries?
Everybody asks about groceries, and the answer is, it depends what you buy. If you're buying local fruit, vegetables, rice, beans, eggs, and locally produced products, costs can be very reasonable. But if you're trying to recreate your shopping cart from Costco back home, you're probably going to be surprised. Imported products often cost significantly more. Certain cheeses, specialty foods, brand name products, some imported alcohol, many imported household items, those things can add up quickly.
I remember the first time we went shopping and realized our favorite products weren't always available. That's part of the adjustment.
People often discover they don't just move countries, they change habits. You start buying different foods, different brands, different products, and eventually many people realize they're eating fresher and simpler than they did before.
Let's talk about vehicles, because that's a big one.
Vehicles are probably one of the biggest surprises. Cars in Costa Rica are generally more expensive than many people expect. Import taxes can be significant. Used vehicles often hold their value extremely well, and maintenance costs vary depending on the vehicle. Toyota parts are generally easy to find. Some luxury brands can be more challenging and more expensive.
We've definitely learned that one firsthand.
We have. We've had our vehicle in the shop for months at a time, no exaggeration. Okay, and then there's fuel. Fuel prices fluctuate, but people should understand that gasoline often costs more than they're used to in North America. The difference is that many people end up driving less. Your lifestyle changes. You're not commuting an hour each way to work every day.
Healthcare is another interesting category.
Healthcare is one of the areas where many people are pleasantly surprised. Costa Rica has both public and private healthcare systems. Private healthcare is often significantly more affordable than people expect. Many expats pay directly for appointments and still spend far less than they would in the United States. And many specialists can be seen much faster than people are used to.
What about utilities?
Utilities are interesting. Water is usually inexpensive. Internet is generally affordable, but electricity can surprise people, especially if you're running air conditioning all day long. A lot of newcomers arrive from colder climates and suddenly discover they love having the AC running 24 hours a day. That can create some unexpected bills.
Let's talk about something people don't usually put in their budget, the lifestyle spending.
That's a great point, because one thing happens to almost everyone. You start saying yes more often. dinner on the beach, weekend adventures, boat trips, sunset drinks with friends, day trips to new towns, visitors coming from back home. The lifestyle itself can become an expense, not because it's required, because it's available.
And that's one of the best parts of living here.
I agree. Most people don't move to Costa Rica to save every dollar possible. They move because they want a different quality of life. And sometimes spending money on experiences becomes far more important than spending money on things.
So, what's the biggest mistake people make when planning their budget?
They budget based on what they hope life will cost, not what life actually costs. The smartest thing you can do is build a buffer. Assume you'll spend more than you expect during your first year. Give yourself room to learn, room to adjust, a chance to discover what your real lifestyle looks like, because the people who are happiest here usually aren't the people who arrived with the perfect budget. They're the people who arrived with flexibility.
That's probably true in a lot of areas of life.
It really is. And the more adaptable you are, the easier the transition becomes. Thanks for listening to the Breakthrough to Costa Rica podcast presented by All in Guanacaste. If you're researching relocation, comparing communities, or trying to understand what life actually costs along Costa Rica's Pacific Gold Coast, visit allinguanacaste.com.
And if you've already made the move, we'd love to hear what surprised you most.
Until next time,
Stay warm
or come south.